Af- oh, wait. All right. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are currently located. We are here for week 7 of SimPlay Pro-Am here at the Nurburgring. I again am joined by pro driver Patrick Leger in the comms box. Now, Patty, this is I would say it's a track very, very similar to Alton Park. There's a lot of elevation, and it is a very, very tight and twisty track.
Yes and no. I definitely agree with that. The track is kind of tight, but other than that, I personally do not think that it has a lot of similarities with Alton Park. Mainly because the curbs are not that aggressive. The track is not as bumpy as Alton Park. Let's be honest. Unless we are going to drive in the green hell, which is not the case today. So, and you actually have some overtaking points at the Nurburgring, especially at turn 1. So, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but I do not really agree with it. But anyway, what are you expecting today, Wellington?
Gonna be very, very difficult to say. It seems that everyone so far in the practice session kind of has their own little group. You have a lot of people about a second out from the fastest time. A lot of people within that are just outside of the 1 second and about half a second out. Then you have another group all of about 2 seconds, then 3 seconds, 4 seconds out. So I feel like we're going to see a lot of pack racing, and we're going to see those groups of like 5, maybe 6 cars all battling for one position.
Yes, and one time at the moment that is standing out is Mirko Ricci with the Lamborghini, with the 55.5 at the moment. So he is really standing out after having a rough week 2 weeks ago. So maybe potentially he can bounce back from a horrible week and maybe get himself back into talking terms regarding the championship for silver.
Yeah, I also wouldn't count out Johnson. He's been kind of on a warpath lately with a bunch of very, very good results. Even his teammate, Richard Bettison, has also had some very, very solid results in the past few weeks. So I would say that in the team's championship, Black and Blue Racing are definitely going to be one to keep your eyes on, as they aren't far out from that of the Greasy Bandits cars.
No, because when I started my first gig a couple of rounds ago, Greasy Bandits was winning the Constructors' Championship by a mile. But Black and Blue Racing have caught back up to the Greasy Bandits with just 31 points difference advantage for Greasy Bandits.
Yeah, definitely getting to a nail-biting finish. But still with 3 rounds to go, we have Suzuka, Zolder, and then all roads lead to that of Donington Park. And that'll be the season finale. The LMU season has finished with Andrew Phipps taking the LMP2 title and Bradley Duncan taking the LMGT3 title. But yeah, Nurburgring, very, very interesting track. We're on the GP layout, not the actual Nordschleife. Still with 6 minutes left of free practice. Who are you keeping your eye out for in terms of quali, Patty?
I'm going to pick a team, and that is Greasy Bandits. Of course, they have not been on a very hot streak as of late, so I'm really curious if they can bounce back and try to extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship. What about you, Wellington?
I'm going to keep my eye out for that of Johnson. He's only 10th out from that of Richie, but I feel like if he could string everything together, he could definitely be a contender for pole.
I mean, definitely the case, and if you have a pole with the straight line speed of the Lexus, especially with the Lamborghini not really known for their straight line speed, it will be very difficult for Richie to overtake Johnson. Especially since Johnson, I have to say, he's really good on its brakes on the Lexus.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have any marshmallow brakes. It's very, very I guess, hooked up in the hands of Johnson. And then in
I mean, he got the premium brakes of Lewis Hamilton in Formula One.
Oh yeah, just without the magic button, it seems. But even Kucharski, 3/10 out and a 6/10 gap to that of Simcoe. And then we look way further down to Neil Broom in P10, 1.1 seconds out. So bronze kind of close in a way, but of course with all the silver drivers, it kind of makes the gap look bigger than what it really is.
To be honest, you could argue that the top four of the bronze drivers would definitely not be misfits if they were silver class drivers. I mean, especially Grubeljan, he impressed me a lot, even though he was unfortunate at times, which was not his fault.
Even that of Simcoe, he's been, I would say, top 10, top 15 most weeks, it seems. So can he continue on that good form and maybe try and have something for that of Kruppeljan?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, I'm not knowing the bronze championship out of my head. Let me have a quick look. And that is that Simcoe is leading the championships with 368 points, with Kruppeljan closely behind with 364 points. So it's just 4 points difference. Then P3 is Stapley with 356 points. Sanchez P4 with 344 points. And then there's a huge gap with P5 with Smith with 276 points. So basically the top four all are in a contention to win the bronze championship.
Yeah, definitely still a very, very open door. But with 3 rounds, it seems that the door is closing very fast.
I mean, it's a task for all the bronze drivers who are in the top four to keep on producing great results for them, so they still have a shot for the championship at the last round at Donington over a couple of weeks. But talking about championships, the silver championship is at the moment Wolski has a big advantage with 645 points, while P2 Johnson is 574 points.
So I guess we could begin to see who is currently in the championship fight. But Patty, as we did in Alton Park, let's go ahead and take it on board with the Mercedes of Hunt, currently running P6.
P4 now.
Oh, yeah, just updated. But definitely one of those tracks where you have to get the flow state in very, very early just to... Oh, pulling over to the side. Anybody else on the lap? But yeah, definitely one of those tracks that seems like you have to get into the flow state quite early. Is there anybody else on track?
I mean, Nurburgring, to my experience, is definitely a track where you have a nice rhythm. It is very pleasantly to drive, and especially with the last chicane, you need to have a lot of discipline. And I can see in Pro-Am that there could be quite some drivers who will be making the mistake by cutting the chicane too much and making them vulnerable for an overtake from a driver behind. Other than that, turn one, of course, always a dive bomb specialty for someone to try to make a move, because other than that, there's not really a lot of overtaking points because the straights at the Nurburgring aren't that long.
I would say even there's a really, really good overtaking spot in the Mercedes arena, just right before, or a couple of corners before where Wolski is, as I may or may not know. Yeah, you could definitely maybe try and surprise somebody and throw up a dive bomb heading into the last bit of the Mercedes arena. Though you have to be extremely careful with hoping that your nose doesn't get cut off.
Yeah, because at that turn, I know exactly what you're talking about. you basically turn in early for an early apex. That will be a high risk, high reward kind of situation if you go for a dive bomb. Me personally, who likes a dive bomb here and there, I think you know about that, Wellington. I am not going to do a dive bomb there because I know everyone will go for an early apex and then my race will basically be over. I'm not that desperate.
Yeah, may or may not have had one absolute stonker of a move on Gareth Anderson back in the M2 GT4 GT2 fun event. But that is a lap around the Nurburgring as we have another minute of wait time until quali gets underway.
Yes, talking about this will be my first event where we are doing the new format that we have introduced last season and extended it this season. Tell me, Wellington, how did you like as a commentating to commentate such a format with 20 minutes of qualification and 90 minutes of a race?
From a driver standpoint, it feels like it gives you a lot more to, like, if you had a bad qualifying session, feels like you definitely have a little bit more time to make those moves that you otherwise wouldn't have had the time for. But it's time for the bronze qualifying session, qualifying in the first 10 minutes before the silvers qualify in the second half.
Yes, it is nice, sunny all day long, so a huge opportunity for the bronze drivers to maybe upset a couple of silver drivers, because we all know we believe in the top four that can definitely, of the bronze drivers who can definitely do that. Any other surprises you're expecting?
Not that I know off the top of my head. But again, I feel like almost every week that we're shocked by somebody with an absolute, almost esport type of lap. Specifically by the bronze drivers. I always feel like there is a handful of them up in the top 10. Even, well, I wouldn't say when they're not supposed to be, because there are some very, very fast bronze drivers who may get promoted up to silver at the end of the season. Depends on what Righty thinks. But
well, I mean,
first,
one driver I definitely have written down as a silver driver for next season is Jen. He really impressed me. The 2 earlier weeks I commentated with you. Even with the setbacks he faced, I mean, I will be surprised if he's not a silver driver by next season.
Yeah, again, still depends on what Righty thinks, but the first car to come across
I will
the
have
line,
a chat with him, no worries, mate.
the first car to come across the line to start his lap is going to be that of Rob Smith with a podium in Alton Park, if I remember. Been quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Smith was definitely impressing me last time out. We were racing at Monza, I believe. I mean, he was with the mistake at the last lap, he was really on point, and he was looking like he was winning bronze. So, but still a great result for Smith and for KSR.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, last round was Alton Park. The round before that was Monza. I think I'm remembering that correctly, but yeah. Let's see. Another little onboard with that of Kruppeljan. Still, just such a flowy bit of the track. Almost feels like the last couple of corners on the Nordschleife, the S's right before you come down to the second carousel. Just kind of smooth sailing, it feels like.
I mean, compared to the Nordschleife, then the GT track of the Nurburgring is very smooth. I mean, I'm loving the Nordschleife every day even more, but I gotta tell you, it's very bumpy. If you hit one wrong bump, you're off into the walls.
Yeah, but still, just one of those flow state type tracks. This one is But Rob Smith now coming up to the last chicane. We're going to see the benchmark lap.
Dus what benchmark lap will Smith be setting for the bronze drivers? And potentially some silver drivers as well.
Going to be a 57.8. Stapley half a second out. Kruppeljan up next. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the top of the board, and that he does with a 57.1. 6/10 clear of that of Rob Smith. The 91. Kacharski validated. 91 of Sanchez, I think, did as well. 56 that of Simcoe. Where's he going to go? Not a lap.
I think he validated as well.
82 that of Dog.
Then close behind him is the 13 of White. What will Dog doing?
No lap for Dog. Lap for White.
He's more than 2 seconds off current pole. Well, Stapley is 1.1 seconds off current pole. With Malarex
Petrovic.
also 1.1 seconds off.
Oh, and Neil Broom now goes to the top of the board with a 56.5. 6/10 clear of Kruppeljan. So it looked like Petrovic was only a 10th out. I thought Kruppeljan almost had it kind of locked down, but no, Neil Broom goes 6/10 clear.
I mean, this is a very good track of the Ferrari. I mean, the Ferrari is one of my main cars I'm using in ACC. And with a lot of downforce and a lot of turning power, this is one of the ideal track of the 296. And we are kind of seeing it now by the top two at the moment, all being Ferrari drivers. But remember, those are set on cold tires. After doing 1 or 2 more laps, the tires will be in their peak performance, and then we will be really seeing those lap times going down.
Don't believe that was an improvement for Rob Smith. Still 1.3 out. I didn't see an improvement for Stapley either. Kruppeljan goes up with a 56.3. Kacharski up next.
Well, Sanchez is P3 with 9/10 behind Kruppeljan.
Simcoe now goes only a 10th away from Kruppeljan with a 56. Kruppeljan still with a 56.3. But still no lap for Kruppeljan. Or, not Kruppeljan, I'm sorry. Kacharski. No lap for Tucker, Dog, Stanek.
Just put in a lap.
Alright, so Dog 1.5 out. Yeah, still no lap for Kacharski, Stanek. I think Tucker did just put in a lap. Number 12, Petrovic, no improvement. Oh, and Neil Broom with a 56.1.
I mean, we are not just only 6/10 of the practice pole time of Mirko Ricci with the 55.5. So those bronze drivers are really setting impressive lap times at the moment.
Indeed, they are. Going to be Rob Smith first of the line again.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on Kacharski because Kacharski is really under a lot of pressure. Still not able to set a lap. I think he's overdriving the car a little bit too much because I cannot imagine that he's doing anything else.
Still no improvement for Rob Smith. Let's go with Kruppeljan. No
Kacharski is now on the last corner.
Kacharski.
Will he be finally able to set a lap time? The answer is yes.
And he goes 4th.
Right.
8/10 out, but he should have one more lap to hopefully muster up those. Well, Simcoe now goes with the 55.7.
almost synchronized.
Yeah, Kacharzi has 1.2 now to make up instead of the original 8/10.
I'll be driving along with him to see if he can actually improve or not.
See, okay, no other drivers except these top 13. Don't know if Stanek has a qualifying ban. That's the only thing that I could assume.
At the moment, Kucharski is almost 2 tenths up on his lap time. He's now approaching the hairpin of, I believe that is turn 6. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he is now 2.5 tenths up. His exit was not that great though, so he's bleeding a little bit of lap time. But he's making up that lap time at the high-speed chicane. Now approaching a high braking zone to the left-hander. Here he can make up a lot of lap time. A little bit of a distraction of a driver who spun round, but he returned very quickly to the garage. So I assume that he will be not too much distracted. Now 3.5 tenths up, and he's now approaching probably one of the most crucial corners with the with the last high-speed chicane.
No improvement for Rob Smith, but the silver drivers are underway for their qualifying session. But last bronze driver is going to be that of Simcoe. Simcoe. Kacharski improves a little bit. Simcoe takes bronze pole with a 55.7. In terms of... Is Malorek still on a lap?
Don't say that too out loud because Broom is still on a lap, even though he's very close by to the number 46 driver.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think that they were still on laps. They got kind of covered up by all the silver drivers.
No, Broom is pitting, so looks like Simcoe is bronze pole sitter for today.
Malorek goes up to 7th, but first silver driver, who's that going to be? Murray's 44, 30. That Richie? Yes, it is.
I mean, a very good call for Richie to go out as first because you need a lot of clean air. And him with the knowledge that he is probably one of the fastest drivers for today's event, I mean, it's a very good call to go first.
Yeah, absolutely. Gives you kind of, I guess, free reign. Just don't look in your mirrors if somebody starts getting close. Kind of all you have to do is just get your head down, knock in a couple of laps, and then go from there.
Definitely. However, I have to say Murray is very close to Mercury Ritchie at the moment. He's backing off a little bit, but I'm not sure the distance he's taking up to Ritchie, not gonna lie.
Who knows? Maybe a little bit of the speed of Ritchie is going to bleed off to that of Murray, for all we know. But anyways, Ritchie has susceptible for that, the first corner.
I mean, the current pole time to beat is a 55.7, and we know Mercury Ritchie is quicker than that, so I assume that he will be having no troubles to beat that time.
Yeah, not at all. Wouldn't be surprised if his first lap is maybe a 55.7, then the next lap is a 55, maybe 4.
Yeah, definitely. Even though the track is an optimum, the more drivers are driving, the track still can be improving a little bit. So, of course, the silver drivers, who are the higher rank drivers of today, of course, can benefit that of a better track conditions more than the bronze drivers do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was last season with Indianapolis where we saw a gold driver on pole because it starts to pour down during the platinum qualifying session.
Yeah, I believe that was Cardno who got pole position. I'm not too sure though, but I was there at the Kayetic race, and I mean
either Cardno or Maiga, one of the two.
I mean, at least I'm glad that you also think it was Cardno. I'm gonna lie.
Well,
That means that at least I'm not that far off.
I mean, I think Cardinal Micah, I think that may have been the front row, but Richie's going to be the first driver up to the line. What is going to be his benchmark for the rest of the silver drivers to aim for? Ooh, Murray goes, I think he's going to reset and try and go again, but Richie's going to go with I believe that's a 56-1, if I could do the math right.
56-1 indeed, yes. And Wolski basically does the same. He's like 8,000ths of a second faster than Merkovic at the moment. Which I think Merkovic didn't have the best of lap times, but to be fair, those tires are still cold, so we cannot expect anything else from that, not gonna lie.
Yeah, now
the block is just like 1,000ths of a second faster than Wolski. Amazing what difference we have. And Johnson having the same lap time as Wolski. Come on, someone else is going to match that time.
.74. That of Dronelander. Next one up. Well, that's crazy to have the same lap time and then somebody go 1/1000th quicker. And Richie is that 8/1000ths behind. So looking very, very close for the silvers just on their first few laps. But Richie now coming into the Valvoline curve. Wonderful sounding car, the Lamborghini Huracan. Shame that they replaced it with a Temerario. That sounds like a washing machine. I could be biased, however.
I think it's especially a shame that the Lamborghini, in my opinion, is too limited on too many tracks.
Yeah, but I mean, we can only move on. At least the Ford Mustang still races. Richie now with a 55.3. Next one to keep eye on is that of the block. But Wolski 3/10 out. Let's see what time the block can do. The block goes top with a 55.3. Next,
amazing lap times from the two.
Gonna be Johnson. Does he have any answer for these top two?
No, he has not. I think he was invalidated. I mean, I have to say, of course, when I joined commentating, Greaves was dominating Silverstone. He was winning by a lot, but after that, his season is basically going downhill at the moment.
Yeah, just a little bit of bad luck, I would say. This is the only thing that Sam Greaves really has to blame. I don't think it's any of his own doing, but yeah. Murray still with no lap. Cherry Moore still with no lap, I think.
What could be one thing of his own doing is his qualification, because Sam Greaves has not put a lap time in yet. He is now sitting down at 28th position, so if he wants to kickstart his championship campaign, he needs to set in on solid lap.
Yeah, alright. Richie gonna be the first across the line. Can he get those 600ths of a second in order to beat or match the block? He halves it and goes 3/100ths away from that of the block. So getting closer, still with 2 minutes left on the clock. Then we
will see if the block will be improving his lap time very much shortly. And the answer is no.
For the block.
Now Sam Greaves is crossing the finish line. Will he finally set a lap time?
And Johnson is in, so his qualifying session should be over. Sam Greaves goes 9th and 9/10 out from pole. Gonna get one more lap in. I would say it's gonna be close for Richie to get one more lap. Just now coming around the carousel.
Yeah, maybe he needs that. Maybe he needs that other lap to actually have a shot at pole position. Of course, he marginally improved his last lap, which was not enough for pole. And Sam Greaves is, by the way, in the pit lane, so his qualification session is over. And Merkel Richie definitely need that last lap because he has invalidated. So he needs to hurry up and get one more lap in before the end of the session. But I think he's able to make it because he's already approaching the last corner. So I think he will be still having a qualification lap. And I'll be driving along with him to see if he can get pole position. Merkel Richie is really on point today. Can he reward himself?
Wolski 3/10 out, and the next one up to the line. Does he have anything? No. Stays 3/10 out, gets one more. Stardog's gonna get one more lap. He's 4/10 out. Next up is that of Coates.
No, Merkel Richie's qualification lap is over. He invalidated.
The block up to the line now. No improvement for him. Let's see. Craig is in. Don't think Argent got a lap in. He did not. The 88.
May I also get your attention that M. Johnson is the only black and blue racing driver who's here. So Greasy Bandits can potentially get a lot of points back on them. Because the Johnson is all on his own today.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I don't know how I didn't recognize that earlier, but the qualifying, no, it's
I was
still
waiting
not.
for you to recognize it.
Wolski is still on a lap, and that of Stardog also still on a lap. So, can Wolski close that 3/10 gap to maybe a half, or like 1.5 tenths, maybe?
I mean, if one driver can do it, it is our current championship leader, even though he has not won a single race this season as of yet. But he is very consistent, and I believe he can do it. You can see that he's really throwing his car all over the corners, all over the curves. Even though he goes a little bit wide at the last turn. I'm gonna die. But will he improve? No, he will not.
How
Kinda
about
shocked, not gonna lie.
Stardog? No.
Yes.
Oh, Stardog goes top to a 55.2.
Oh, yeah. Greasy Bandit is really doing great business. And I have to say, independent as well. All three drivers, all four drivers are in the top 6. Independent is really doing great business today.
Yeah, and again, I said for like 2 or 3 drivers to be in the top 10, but we're going to take just a short break as we wait for these drivers to get on their, or work on their strategies, but we'll catch you in about 10 minutes, give or take. welcome back as we have about a second until the formation lap starts. Stardog leading the way. Let's go to the helicam for the formation lap.
Really exciting to see what the race start will be. I mean, turn 1 will be very much chaotic, I'm predicting.
Oh, no doubt. It feels like almost every turn 1 has been very, very chaotic. I think Murray, starting from the pits, wonder if something fuel related or if he had the glitch that doesn't allow you to hit the drive button. So very, very unfortunate start to his race before it even has gotten underway.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for Tucker. But on the good news is Grosjean seems to be able to start his race from the starting grid this time out. Of course, the last couple of times he was not able to do that for unknown reasons.
Just ACC having its typical meltdown now that it's reaching the end of its life, slowly but surely.
Yeah, but until then, we can still witness some great racing in our Pro-Ams and Pro classes, which are, of course, on Thursday nights as well. So tomorrow, you can also come back to us and watch great racing with the Pro classes.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's not about tomorrow. It is about today now. What are you expecting, Wellington?
I feel like it's going to be very, very chaotic, especially heading into the Mercedes arena. Some of the exit curbs are very, very slippery, so we could maybe see a car bounce into another one, and that causes chain reaction type of crash. But yeah, it's going to be just a happy chaos, I think, seeing drivers bumper to bumper the entire night. And again, I feel like we're going to see a lot of pack racing. We might see the top 3 kind of all fighting for the race win, at least in the first end. So I would say more of the lead. And then, yeah, we're just going to see little packs of about 3 to 5 cars as they think are going double file.
I think they are too.
I think
now I'm expecting a very chaotic turn 1, not gonna lie. I mean, I will not be surprised if someone will miss this braking point slightly.
Yeah,
but of course, if something happens, they have 90 minutes of time to get back, so still enough time to recover from your race.
Yeah, definitely gonna be like a boxing match, I will say, this entire race. But we've got them racked, we've got them stacked, and the virtual grandstands are packed as they head down the front stretch. Ding, 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 we're in the ring. 90 minutes of the Nurburgring here for Pro-Am. The block gets quite a good start when compared to Stardog. It's going to be able to keep it. Stardog down the inside. Richie looking down the inside of the block. A little bit of contact towards the apex. Wolski able to try and get around the outside. Richie goes to the inside of Stardog. A little bit of contact. That sends Richie around. The block now leads from Stardog and Wolski. Johnson trying to work around the outside of Simcoe.
I think we already have a retirement because Richie is in the pit lane and he rage quitted. So there's already a retirement. So no points for Richie.
But the block now with quite a decent gap to that of Stardog. But Wolski just behind his teammate. So this could be a decent points haul for Greasy Bandits. But as the timing tower sorts itself out. But Johnson just on the back of these two And Simcoe leading that bronze class. I believe that is Kaczarski just behind him. I'm scared to click on somebody and then it like freaks out. But
I completely understand your struggles. I think it kind of settles it down now, but I'm really curious with Johnson because Johnson is very good with wheel-to-wheel
Stardog around, or almost around, had a half spin into the wall. So De Block's lead just got even bigger to now that of Wolski. But Johnson, yeah, still filling up all of Wolski's mirrors. Wolski runs a little bit wide, but Simcoe seems to be catching these two.
With Johnson's straight line speed, you do not want to do that. And Johnson is very close to Wolski. Will Johnson go for a down and dive bomb down into turn 1? Now he's going around the outside.
Wolski defends.
Maybe he's trying to get the inside of turn 2.
Maybe, but we saw what happened with Richie. He keeps it at least going straight, but still very. Again, I've said we're gonna have a little bit of pack racing, but look at Simcoe just on the back of these two. He's kept his nose clean, so could he maybe try and look for an overall podium? You have Kruppeljan a second behind Simcoe, and about 8/10 from Kruppeljan to Broom. So I guess all those bronze drivers could be potentially fighting for an overall podium.
I mean, if there is one opportunity today to get a podium, I mean, it is this day for one of the 3 bronze drivers. I mean, all of the bronze drivers had an amazing start. All are in contention for a podium.
But let's see, are there any more battles down? It looks like Broom is under threat from that of Drone Lander. Hunt not far out.
Yeah, let's see if Homelander can make a move down to Broom. But also Simcoe is... Wait, my apologies, Drone Lander I meant. But Simcoe is also putting a lot of pressure onto Johnson.
So we're going to keep an eye on that battle. Hunt closed in a lot under the brakes to that of Drone Lander. Drone Lander probably checking up just a little bit because of Broom in front of him, but he might be under threat.
I think he's under threat because the Mercedes are very good on the curbs and the Ferrari, it's definitely not that. Will Hunt go down the inside? No. A late defensive move from Drone Lander that forces Hunt out wide.
Sorry, Patty, Garbino's in for the first of his stops, as this is the 90-minute format. Let's go down. Ooh, quite a conglomerate here. Rob Smith has quite a gap to that of Craig, Stapley, B-Dog, Murray. Who else is in here? Stanek and Arjun just off the tail. But yeah, a lot of action for, I believe that is 14th, 15th. Should be 15th now. Craig is just now stretching his legs. And then if we go back, that's 63. That of Privet.
Well, we have side-by-side action with Sanchez and Petrovic. A lot of contact, and Sanchez goes around. I have to say, Petrovic looks like he was not giving Sanchez enough room, and thus Sanchez loses multiple positions. He's now falling back, I think, all the way down to P17, I believe.
And that's another car added to this group.
Definitely, because the leaders are now settling down a little bit with the block being gone. I hope this time he will be getting enough fuel in his car to actually win the race. And Wolski is now P2. I mean, he's really looking like he can extend his lead even a little bit, but Johnson is right behind him.
Yeah, I saw Murray's dive bomb on Dog going into the Valvoline curve. But...
And we see side-by-side action with Stanek, Dog, and Sanchez is very close by, as well as 2 other drivers. This will be chaotic down into turn 1. Well, Stanek goes off a little bit wide. This
Sanchez
is all
had
for
quite a big
P16.
slide. Looks like Stanek will be able to have quite a gap to Sanchez, but Sanchez quite quick. Kieran Argent just on the back of these two. So could Argent play a
Argent
factor?
is drifting a little bit around turn 2, but he managed to stay in control with his car. I mean, him as a silver driver, he needs to make sure he's overtaking those bronze drivers as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. But you can overtake quick, but then you can also overtake safely. Though the safe option might be a little bit more time consuming, at least, you know, there won't be a ticket against you or anything of that sort.
I mean, but sometimes you got to go in a little bit rough and try to
Oh, and
force a
Argent
move.
taps around that of Sanchez, and just as we were talking about taking your time to overtake and just throwing it up the inside, Argent does what I said not to do, so
Argent is
that could be a ticket.
prime example of how not to do it.
Any more?
Well, there's a
battles?
close battle for P3 because Simcoe got back up with Johnson. Just 3/10 the difference between the two of them.
Yeah, and a
Simcoe is
little
really
bit.
locked in at the moment.
Yeah, and a bit further down the order, I believe for P21, or no, P20, you have Millington, Garage, Flores, a bunch of silver drivers way down the order. I believe that's that of Privet in this little group as well. Malarek's not far out. But again, I said we're going to have just a lot of these groups, and sure enough, we have all these groups as the block has just about checked out.
He definitely, we have a massive group fighting for P7, for P18, where Millington is leading their pack. So there is definitely a lot of exciting fighting going on, but not really at the front, but more in the midfield.
Yeah, I mean, I always feel like the midfield does produce a little bit better racing than the front. So we're definitely going to keep our eyes out for when all of these drivers pit, where they come out, and that sort of thing. But still, just behind them, you still have Privet, Flores, Malarex right there.
Yes, at the moment, Millington seems to be really under pressure by Juras of one of the other independent racing drivers. I have to say, Independent has a lot of racing drivers in their team.
Not a team. I think that means that they don't have a team.
Oh, my bad. I thought when someone doesn't have a team, there is basically no team name being shown. So I definitely got confused there. My apologies for that.
No worries, Patty. As we see Garage gonna try around the outside of Millington, not able to. But he's gonna get a better run with that late apex. He's gonna go for a look down to the.
I think they already side by side.
And Sanchez just kind of teeing up.
Oh,
a little bit of contact. Millington overshoots.
Right.
Yeah, but Sanchez now through. Easy pickings for him.
I think Juras made contact with Steve Millington, which prevented Steve Millington from steering in, and basically caused Millington to overshoot the corner. That's what I think that happened.
I think you're right, but we're gonna go up to Stapley, or no, now this battle is kind of fanned out. You had Stapley, Murray, Argent, Stanek all in one little group, and now they are
spread out a little bit more, but Jerry Moore is still chasing down Stanek, trying to force a move upon in. But also still a battle going on for P3. I'm really impressed with Simcoe's pace. He's the only one of the bronze drivers of the top 3 Johnson drivers who is able to keep up with Johnson.
Yeah. Well, Crumplejan's not far out, so maybe he could be saving his tires. He might, or he could double stint his tires and maybe take a fresh set in the second and last stop. And maybe Simcoe is just going all out to kind of see where he goes or where he gets out after his first stop, and maybe that'll dictate if he takes tires or not.
You as the main commentator for this season, what type of strategies did you have seen all around in the 90-minute races?
Well, we saw Stardog about give me and Duffin a heart attack at Bathurst by waiting for like the last 2 minutes to make his second pit stop just for a little bit of fuel. But it definitely seems that a lot of the Pro-Am drivers take tires in the first stint and not the second stint. And then in Pro, it seems that quite a lot of drivers take tires in the second stint but not the first stint.
So it's basically like the other way around, basically.
Give or take with a little bit of limitation. There are some people who just don't take tires at all, as the drivers aren't forced to take tires, just a little bit of fuel. There is no set. Ooh, Murray's around or off track. It won't let me click on him. Believe he's retired. Yes, not seeing him in or on the timing tower.
Yeah, I see him in the timing tower. I think he's retired, but he's not left the lobby as of yet.
But still, Simcoe, outstanding job by him just to be able to, I guess, keep tabs with that of Johnson. And Crumplejan, he's closed in about half a second on this pair. He was 1.7 seconds out. Now he's only 1.2 out.
Yeah, but actually now I'm going to start to wonder. Of course, I don't think we can see the fuel loads what everyone is running as commentators. But now I'm actually wondering, like, who's actually going for the first pit stop to change tires, and who's actually filling up this car and going for the first pit stop with only a splash and dash. I mean, I will be surprised if the block will be going for tires first and then a special dash for the second pit stop.
I don't know how good or bad the McLaren is on its tires, but
I believe it's average.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, if I was or actually driving, I would definitely take tires the second stop, just so again you have what you need in case you are in a late race battle, or if you're a silver driver and you want to try and go for the fastest lap and the extra point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I will probably go for splash for first special splash dash if I have a disappointing qualification. Not gonna lie. Or if I have a good qualification, I will then go for a tire set at the first pit stop and then special dash at the end.
Crumplejan, the gap has extended now back up to the 1.7. But yeah, still not really seeing any battles per se, although Sanchez looking just on the back of B-Dog.
Yeah, Sanchez is really close to Dog at the moment. Will he go down for a dive bomb into the next turn? Answer is no. He's really careful, but he is really filling up the mirrors of Dog, trying to force Dog into a mistake.
Late apex for Sanchez, better run out, gonna go to the outside for the kink, but how? If
But
Sanchez
that will be the inside
around,
of the chicane.
yes. Is Sanchez gonna send it? No, Dog, I think just let him through.
I think that's the wise decision because you do not want to go side by side into that chicane. I mean, when Gray Langley was still driving in ACC, I dived down the inside of him and he was not happy with it, even though it was a legitimate move by me. But it was also a risky one, I can acknowledge that.
We'll see what Langers thinks of that if he is watching the stream.
I hope so.
Rob Smith, I would say doing what he needs to do and just kind of in a world of his own. Petrovic is now on the back of him as they head down to the carousel.
Well, at the moment, Simcoe is really pressuring Johnson at the minute. He is really hunting down the silver driver, one of the championship contenders for silver.
Yeah, could this just be the Lexus poor tire wear when compared to the Ferrari?
I have to say the tire wear of the Ferrari is also not that impressive, so I don't think that will be much of a difference.
Ooh, a big slide from Johnson.
Johnson covers down the inside. Simcoe tries to go around the outside. He's trying to have a cutback to have a good exit, but Johnson blocks him off. But Johnson is not done yet because Simcoe, I think, is kind of, well, he's pulling away. That is the might of the Lexus engine. And so far away that Simcoe is not able to go down for the inside for a move.
Yeah, unless... Oh, Petrovic has passed that of Rob Smith. So as soon as I want to go back to see the battle, Petrovic had already gotten it done.
Well,
let's see. Stapley on the... No, I think Kieran Argent got past that of Stapley. Malarex.
Kieran Argent really tried to make some position up after pole qualification. I mean, he's doing a good job at the moment.
Sam Greaves looking down the inside of Malarex for 22nd, that is. Yeah, down the inside, Greaves goes. Is he going to get it to stick? He does. Now he sets his eyes on to that of Privet, who is within touching distance for Greaves.
I mean, definitely, and Greaves is one of the top drivers of silver, so I can expect that he is taking a lot of places back from the back, even though I have not seen what have happened with him.
Ooh, around the outside, turns to the
maybe
inside.
Much ambitious.
Privet cuts him off, or Privet has just a little bit of overlap.
Well, Privet was ahead, so Greaves had no choice. Ooh, a little look at the inside, but Privet did not flinch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sam Greaves just absolutely wants to dispose of these bronze drivers in front of him and set his eyes to the silver drivers in front of him.
Yeah, that is what he needs to do if he will still have a small hope for the championship. Even though I do not think it will be very much likely that he can compete after he's dropped back down to 23rd. Even though I believe he started like P10 or P11, so something has happened with him, I think.
Rob Smith is in for the first of his stops.
But Privet is really holding up all the four drivers in front of him. But Greaves is now really close. He is really close, and with the Mercedes superior speed, he will try to probably make a move down the inside of turn 1. Will he do it? The answer is yes. He is trying to make a move down the inside. And he is making it stick. He is forcing Privet out a little bit by not giving him an opportunity to counter, and that is P21 for Sam Greaves, and he's now hunting down Flores. No, I believe that was P20, my apologies.
Yeah, it was indeed, but now he's got to about 2 seconds to that of Flores and Millington. So we'll see how quickly he can close in on them. But Kieran Argent is now up to 9th. I don't remember where he was the last time that we checked up on him.
Well,
But
it was P12, but I believe also a couple of people have making their pit stops as of yet. So a couple of people are probably going in relatively early than what the average pit window will be for all the drivers.
yeah, so a lot of interesting strategies. I feel like drivers are just are not testing as much as they did earlier in the season. Now everybody has their own set strategy, if you will, that they always go to.
Yeah, may I put your attention to P1 and P2? The block lost a lot of time to Wolski. I think the McLaren is go through his tires, and if that is the case, that's not good news for the block.
Yeah, and just before this, I was looking at Craig, Stapley, and Cherry Moore. They're in one little three-way fight for that P10. But still, I just lots of pack racing. It seems like almost everywhere you look, there's packs of about 3, 4 cars, and then you have a few oddities where there's just a single driver on one part of the track with no threat from behind.
Yes. Also, may put your attention to Broom, because I think he could be able to jump all of the bronze drivers whenever they are going to make a pit stop, I think.
Oh yeah, Broom. Just seen the timing tower fix itself, but yeah, he could maybe
No,
jump now.
now Broom is dropping back into the timing tower. I don't know what is going on. I think the timing tower fooled me. But anyway, enough trickery. 3/10 is the difference between Wolski and the block. We are going to have a stellar fight for P1. I think the block is through his tires.
Maybe, or doesn't look like he has damage, so maybe, yeah, maybe he did go through his tires, and we're only 24 minutes in, so this could be a awful sign for DeBlock.
Yeah, I mean, let's also remember it's kind of hot today out there with track temperatures being 30 to 36 degrees Celsius. So the tires will also not have an easy day today. So maybe the block does not have the abilities to cope with such conditions. What do you think, Wellington?
Maybe I was gonna say maybe it was damage, but I'm not seeing any damage on DeBlock's car. Or maybe he was in the flow state and now just isn't in that flow state. So definitely could be quite. It's hard for us to say here in the comms box, but yeah, the
Yeah,
only
I
thing
wish
that
that
I
we
can
had
think
Mike
of.
Matthews here as a guest, so he could tell us a little bit more about the characteristics of the McLaren. My apologies to butchering that word completely wrong, by the way.
But the block pulled an extra few tenths away from Wolski. Gap is now 5 or half a second. So it seems like
There's all
Wolski is a little bit better in the last sector.
that may be a saving grace, but also there is a back marker they are approaching. Hopefully, the back marker will be not getting in their way too much. And the answer is no. Coates is getting nice and easily out of the way, so the leaders can fight another day.
Yeah, it looks like Wolski's just a little bit better on the brakes, able to get to the apex more comfortably than that of DeBlock. But as I say that, DeBlock is currently at a 6/10 of a second gap. So maybe Wolski better just in this middle tight twisty sector, and the block is
But yeah, if you attention, that
faster.
Simcoe is now P3.
Oh, so maybe
Hello,
Johnson also went through his tires because track temp is 36 degrees. Yeah, that's the only thing that I could really think of.
Yeah, even though I'm very interested why Simcoe has his emergency lights on. Maybe something happened, or I think. Very curious though. Anyway, Johnson
Maybe,
is now out of the podium spots, at least for the main podium spots.
yeah, the overall podium, but hey, he remains on the silver podium, so I guess he shouldn't really lower his head too much.
No, I mean
If it were to end
he
like
also
this.
has a
If.
championship to think of, so I think he happily sacrificed a position for now. Maybe try to fight it back later if he has the pace for it. But like, yeah, if you say the tire wear of the Lexus are not that great, I mean, he will probably aim for a struggle today.
Maybe Sanchez, I'm just seeing on the timing towers, and Privet and White are both in. It looks like Wolski's way closer for 4/10 now. So
Yeah, oh,
still
they're
back
going
on
almost
this
side by side.
lead
The
battle.
block's defending. But a horrible exit for Wolski at turn 1. So that gives the block a little bit more breathing space. Well, at the 5 of P10, Quake and Stapley are fighting each other. Stapley is very close. I think Stapley has a good shot to go down the inside and make the move for P10 stick.
Yeah, and the Bentley is extremely quick. Careful with White on the
Oh!
inside. Ooh, Stapley.
Yeah, I think Stapley got scared of the driver who just got out of the pit lane. That was a little bit
that
unfortunate.
White. So Stapley might need a new race suit for the little jump scare that he had, but
Yeah, he
it
definitely got to
allows
go
Craig
down.
to fight another day.
I have to say, I love Stapley's livery. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a very good livery.
Well, I would like to comment on his livery, but unfortunately, I have PTSD from Bentleys. So, anyway, Wolski and his gap 0.7 of a second to the block.
Well, at the moment, Stapley is also getting pressured by Duras, so that is a
the
good
block is
three-lay fight.
So the block is in.
It's a risky move because that means that he gives Wolski clean air now to really go a push for it. But also, we don't know what his strategy will be, so maybe he will take fresh tires now and will go to the end on those tires, of course. He still needs to make a splash and dash pit stop then. But I think the dynamic of the strategies will be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also know that the block has a little bit more pace over that of Wolski, as we saw early into the race. But maybe the block made a mistake, and that allowed Wolski to catch back up. And ever since that, if there was a mistake, the block
Well,
just
I'm
hasn't
fighting
had
at the
the
moment.
same
I'm sorry for
mindset.
interrupting you. Stapley is trying to go for another move down the inside, but he's too far away. But he's also under a lot of pressure by Duras, so we have a three-way fight for P10 as we speak. None of those drivers has pitted as of yet, so it is all for net position. Oh, it's a bad pit stop on the block. The block is into a lot of traffic. And remember, those guys do not have to go out of the way. So this will be massive for Wolski. He needs to push on really hard now.
Yeah,
the block
especially
is in a
well.
lot of traffic.
especially while De Block, I would say he kind of has his hands tied in this traffic because you don't want to be overly aggressive. Oh, Kieran Argent has a podium, not a podium. Giving him too many props. He has a drive-through.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that caught me off guard.
But yeah, hopefully De Block doesn't pull Kieran and Carson Hocevar somebody into the upcoming corner. Millington has just a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, the block at the moment fell all the way back down to P17, and as it looks right now, he is not able to keep the lead. But of course, we have to see where Wolski will be ending up if he chooses to go for a pit stop. But he has not. He's decided to continue, and that's probably the best move. As far as he can go, of course. I don't know how much fuel he has taken into his gas tank. But as long as he can go without running out of fuel, I would just go for it.
Yeah, but again, you don't want to face a ticket and, you know, maybe lose the race win. Simcoe is in, Kucharski is also in. Yeah. All right. So no other drivers. Or sorry, Kucharski's now out. Just seeing that De Block.
There's a lot of fighting going on. This is going to be really interesting with all those top leaders pitting and ending up at that block of people who are fighting for P17.
Yeah, well, more P16. Ooh, Stardog gets tapped around by Gerbino.
Oh, that is not good news for the Tracy Bandits. And good news for Black Air Racing Team, who is of course only represented by one driver.
Yeah, so Stardog's night started on a high, and now it's slowly burning. So
and Simcoe is pitted, and he is behind Dronelander. That means that it's still not a good time to make a pit stop. Well, Whittington went wide, and Simcoe is at the moment pressurizing Dronelander.
Yeah, but Simcoe has had some very, very good pace. So far, well, today for me, probably tonight for everybody watching, and you included, Patty. But some very, very good pace here.
I mean, Simcoe is really impressing me because he was the only bronze driver who was able to put a lot of pressure onto Johnson and eventually overtake him as well. I mean, he's making a very good case for himself to be a silver driver next season, not gonna lie.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, he's had some very, very good pace lately, as he's now almost directly on the back of Dronelander. Is he going to go to the outside, inside? Dronelander covers the inside.
Oh, wait a second. Dronelander pitted as well. Dronelander is definitely on another strategy because he has jumped Simcoe and what was his name again? The Block. No, De Block is
The Block is in 13th.
All the changes into
Dronelander goes way wide.
Well, he made Simcoe's life definitely easy with that mistake.
Yeah, Millington is in for the first of his stops.
But I have to say, Broom has jumped Simcoe with that early pit stop.
Oh yeah, he has. By a huge margin.
By a country mile.
Simcoe's down to 15th. Broom is up in 8th. So we'll see.
Broom is at the moment under pressure by Greaves, who still has to make a pit stop.
Yeah, but we'll see with Kruppeljan and Petrovic when they pit, and Stapley too, and see if Broom has pulled the ultimate first stop and pit early just to get it out the way, and now he's just putting in clean laps and trying to get to a marker for his second stop.
I think Wolski and Johnson will have a huge advantage compared to the rest of them who are fighting midfielders at the moment. They are still staying out. They are still able to stay out, and they will get a lot of time on the people who they were fighting with before. And I think, may I say that Wolski could win this race now?
Yeah, again, it depends on if Johnson has a little bit of late race pace and manages to close in on that of Wolski. But yeah, things are definitely looking up for him to finally win a race this season.
I mean, I think if Wolski wins this race, I will definitely be happy that you cannot call him the bridesmaid anymore.
Yeah, he might have our heads for that, Patty. So,
You can bring it on.
But Greaves gets ahead of Broom. Stapley kind of in a world of his own at the moment.
Wolski stayed out. Johnson stayed out as well, so they're going for another lap.
Flores about half a second out from that of Hunt. So this could be a battle brewing, and there's the block just in the background. So this could maybe be a three-way fight, but the block has already done one of his stops. Both Hunt and Flores still have to do their 2 stops.
Yes, they still have to. Well, a little update that Jores has overtaken Stapley for a net P7. Other than that, I think there's a little battle going on for P17 between Kucharczyk and Gambino. Gambino, of course. Gambino, I think it's going down the inside. No, he's taking better of it. But he definitely had a better run than Kucharczyk. Well, Kucharczyk is going wide out of the last corner. And Gambino having a really good run. Will he go down the inside of turn 1? He is in the slipstream. Will he go for it? Will Gambino go for it? The answer is no, even though he's trying to go around the outside. Hello?
I think he was trying to go for the cutback, but just wasn't able to get it there with Kucharski's car just right, or just at the right point.
Well, Simco is making his way through the field. He is now overtaking Malarex for a P14. So he's now in clean air, trying really to make up the time he lost fighting all those midfielders. Well, Wolski stays out for another lap, and Johnson decides to do it as well. So they are really going for a late pit stop strategy. What do you think of that, Wellington?
I mean, yeah. Just one of those things. Maybe it works for some drivers, not for others, but still another 50 minutes to kind of see who had the best strategy. But Simco is 6 seconds out from the block, so...
And the block is fighting Flores at the moment, who still hasn't made his pit stop as well. So I think at the moment it's advantage for Wolski and Johnson.
Yeah, but could also Simco maybe get into P2 after the pit stops, because it seems like he's a lot closer than he was before the pit stop. So, before the pit stops.
Potentially, even though the gap between the block and Simco is like close to 7 seconds. So, I mean, he still has to make up a lot of time and really hope that Flores is fighting this one hard. Even though that will not be smart for Flores because he still needs to make a pit stop. But that is beside the point.
Stardog in for the second of his stops, so I mean, based on how his race is going, might as well take the gamble, just fuel it up and go. Oh, as the block tries to go for the up and under, Seems like Flores just has him covered off. The block looking down the inside, not able to go. So now the block is losing a bit of time, so he might be just desperate to get past that of Flores.
You know what the dangerous thing is with desperate drivers? They will easily make mistakes. He goes down the inside
Ooh, the
of
block down
Flores.
the inside of
Talking
Flores,
about
a
that.
little bit of contact.
Amazing move from the block. He put it all on the
Flores.
line and he can reap out the rewards from it. Wow.
Flores flashing his lights, not a fan of that. I would say very, very aggressive move, but now the block has his eyes
but like
set
he
on
was on the inside
that
of
of
the
Hunt.
apex, and Flores he has nothing to complain about. He left the door open.
Yeah, but I also feel like you could enter that corner a little bit wider, try and hit a late apex for a better run out. I don't feel like you have to hug the inside curb.
I mean, I don't think he should hug the inside curb because I think, in my experience,
Ooh,
it
the
tells
block
the
is
car.
way off at the chicane.
I think he hit that inside curb a little bit wrong, and thus he's going wide. But he's not lost a lot of time. He's still on clean air. His tires are a bit dirty though, so that needs to be cleaned. But that will be done within a lap.
And Flores, after that pass by the block, is now in for his first stop. So the people not stop yet. Wolski, Johnson, Kropotjan, Petrovic, all the way down to Neil Broom. And if I'm looking at this right, Neil Broom has jumped the block by quite a bit.
Do you think all those drivers stay out late because they are afraid they are going to get in traffic? Still, a lot of drivers have not pit.
But it seems that Broom pit at the right time. However, I think the block took tires because he's almost immediately on the back of Hunt. So I don't think that Broom took tires. He might take him in the second stop. But in terms of pit stop leaders, it's going to be Broom, the block, and then Simcoe. Johnson in for his first stop.
And Hunt goes a little bit wide. That makes the block going side by side and around the outside. But with those GT3 cars, it's difficult to make a move around the outside stick. But the block is now on the inside of the little king. Oh, almost. He got cut off by Hunt. Will he dare to dive down the inside of the chicane? The answer is no. But he is definitely have the momentum. And I mean, never mind. Hunt chooses to make a pit stop, and probably a smart thing to do because he will lose a lot of time with that battle.
Yeah, but this just means that the block has a ton of clean air until he's onto the back of Broom. So
Definitely, I mean, he needs that
definitely
clean
gonna
air to make up
maximize
all the
it.
time. Oh, we have missed the pit stop for Johnson, and Johnson is, I would say P3, but he's falling back now. Of course, the timing tables is a little bit iffy in this game. He's behind
Simcoe.
56. He's Sim. Oh wow! I was not expecting that Johnson would be behind Simcoe. I mean I think that means that his tires were truly gone.
Still a long way to go.
Maybe, but Simcoe did get ahead of Johnson before the stops, so
I think a lot of the strategy of the drivers who stayed out is probably a half and half, and then at the end a splash and dash. I think.
yeah, I think so too. But again, we still have another 40 minutes to really figure out what was the best strategy to run. As Kropotjan and Petrovic are now in. still not seeing any battles. It feels like everybody's kind of spaced out.
Yeah, but the block is really chasing down Broom really quickly, so I think we can see soon a battle between him and Niels Broom.
Well, who knows? Maybe Broom could let him go, even though they do earn points for overall position, not for class position. So, if Broom wants to, he could defend from the block.
I mean, Broom is definitely one of the faster bronze drivers, so I mean, if one of the bronze drivers can do it, I think it's Niels Broom.
But Dronelander's in and Garage is in. I think Petrovic took tires. It still has him in the pits. Oh, stop go 30 for Petrovic now.
Ooh, that's a shame for Petrovic, especially since he already made a pit stop as well. I think a stop-go penalty is for speeding into the pit lane, am I correct?
I think it's just speeding in the pit lane as a whole.
Okay. So that was a little bit careless from Petrovic then. Oh wait,
Danik in.
Update, Johnson is ahead of Simcoe now.
See, yeah, he is. Don't know how I missed that.
Maybe Simcoe made a mistake.
Ooh, the block down the inside of Broom into the kink, but the block through without any issue.
Yeah, Broom clearly backed off of that one, knowing that the block is not in his race. And he chose to make a pit stop directly after that as well.
Greaves is in. One of the SimPlay McLarens, I believe it's that of Millington in as well. Broom in for the second of his stops. Cherry Moore in. Who else is in? Coates is in. And yes, it was Millington in for the SimPlay McLaren. But Wolski still with 2 stops to make, as well as Brian Craig. So when do those two elect to pit? I think that Wolski might try and do the entire race on tires, because we are. It was 90 minutes. We are over the halfway.
Wolski is getting in now for his first pit stop of the race. I'm keeping an eye on him to see where he will be ending up.
The block just now looping the bottom part of the circuit. So how much did he gain or lose compared to Wolski? But we also don't know who did.
To see what type of strategy Wolski is choosing now.
Yeah, we still don't know if Wolski is taking tires or if the block did take tires.
I think he's taking tires because he's standing longer than 3 seconds. So they will see where is the number 840. 840 is now approaching the last corner. I think the block will be jumping Wolski.
Yeah, it'll be close. Let's go on board with Wolski.
No, the block has overtaken Wolski.
There goes the block.
So the long pit stop did not work out. The long stint did not work out. So all our hyping up for Wolski probably winning this race has been for nothing.
Yeah, probably shot ourselves and maybe him in the foot, but
yeah, but let's be real. The block had a lot of traffic to deal with, but a lot of traffic. And let's be honest, the traffic is not as fast as Wolski. So, I mean, you would assume normally that Wolski would have overtaken the block, would have overcutted him, but That is not true at all. I'm a
You want
bit
to know
baffled by
what
that.
the traffic kind of reminded me of?
Tell me.
Prototypes and GT3s at Daytona. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Anyways, Craig now leading, but still has his 2 pit stops to make. Cherry Moore still has his 2, and that of Tucker.
I mean, those three people. I mean, mad respect to keep their tires alive for so long, especially in those hot conditions today.
Stardog now looking on the back of Rob Smith. This is for 22nd overall. How much of a fight is Rob Smith gonna put up? I believe in front of them, that of Steve Millington and Gerbino. Well, Millington down in 28th, so he'll be a blue flag to these 2.
I mean, I think Rob Smith will put up a massive fight because remember, Rob Smith, Stardock, Gambino, all of them already made their 2 pit stops, so they are going to the end.
Yeah, but still, they're not in the class, or not in the same class, but they're still fighting for overall points, so every point counts, especially for the team championship with Stardog and Wolski being paired together.
Yeah, to be honest, I will not look at driver classes and whatever. I will personally try always to maximize my position, so if I was Rob Smith, I would defend my life on it for P22.
There's another battle here in Argent, and that of Drone Lander for 18th. Kieran Argent still has one more stop to make. Drone Lander has already gone green for both of his stops.
Yes, and also at the same time, the block is rapidly approaching Craig. Just over a second is the gap behind Craig to the block. So the block will probably inherit the lead. And if Craig will be smart, he will pit now, because else he will be losing a lot of time behind fighting the block.
Yeah, absolutely. And Craig has already gone almost an hour on this set of tires on this fuel load as the block cuts the second half of the chicane, and that of Privet is off at the chicane as well.
I mean, he needs to be careful with it, because we have already seen some drivers getting caught with track limits and getting a penalty for that. Well, the block goes down inside. Will he far enough? The answer is no.
And Wolski's now under threat from that of Johnson. Just caught a little glimpse of that.
Although we're still fighting for the potential lead, Craig is fighting this for his life, but Wolski is now the block. My apologies. He went around the outside of turn 3 and made the move stick on Craig. And Wolski is now back again in his race leader of today.
Johnson still looking on the back of Wolski. Just can Johnson get close enough to size up a move on that of Wolski?
I mean, Wolski definitely not liking his new tires as we speak, because he is under a lot of pressure by Johnson. And this is not only fighting for the championship, he's also fighting for the Constructors' Championship as well.
Yeah. I can't remember how many points you said they were separated by before
In the team championship, they are 31 points separated by each other. Black and Blue Racing has caught up a lot in the previous 2 rounds.
Yeah, they've done quite an outstanding job. The pairing of Bettison and Johnson seems to be very, very strong. It seems like they each play to each other's strengths and weaknesses. But Johnson almost directly on the back of Wolski. Wolski goes to the inside.
Oh, I think a little contact, but Wolski manages to keep in control of his car. But Johnson, we know how aggressive he can be, and he mostly can make those moves work. So I'm going to hang around with these two.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else
Will Johnson go down the inside?
at the
No.
moment.
Defending around the outside. He is ahead of the
Johnson
apex. Is he
around
making
the
the move around the outside
outside.
work?
Gonna have the inside now for the next corner. Makes
And he
it
does.
stick.
Oh
for
my god,
P2.
Johnson, teach me how to brake, man. Oh my god. You're so amazing on the brakes.
Outstanding move by that of Johnson. Kruppeljan just on the back of Kucharski. Heading into, yeah, about the same place that we just saw Johnson get that move done on Wolski.
And we should keep an eye on Niels Broom because he's already made his final pit stop as well. So if everyone made the final pit stop, I'm very curious where Broom will be ending up in the ladder as we speak.
Sam Greaves just on the back of Garage. Let's check back up on Wolski. Seems that Johnson has, pretty much checked out from Wolski. Cherry Moore in for the second and last of his stops. But
Yeah,
I'm sticking with this Kruppeljan and Kucharski fight.
It's kind of baffling to me that Wolski is not able to turn on his new tires. Oh, Privet is round and Wolski almost crashed into him. So Wolski was very fortunate that he was able to avoid Privet. But back to him, I think the team has put on the wrong tire pressures. I mean, you're not going to explain to me why Wolski is so slow. Oh, Johnson is making his pit stop, by the way. He's going for his final pit stop.
Yep, just seeing that. But other than this Kucharski Kruppeljan fight, the only other one that I see is Greaves and Garage, but they have
It is a long pit stop from Johnson, so is he taking another set of tires?
Maybe, but it seemed that it was paying off for him because he went around the outside of Wolski, almost like Wolski didn't even step on the throttle.
I think he's got a new set of tires, which will be a big mistake. Well, we gotta keep a close eye on that one. Well, Privet is on the outside of turn 1 off track. But a very curious choice from Johnson to potentially go for a new set of tires. I'm wondering what the thought is behind that.
Kruppeljan not getting any closer to Kucharski. Greaves and Garage have, well, now that I tune in, Greaves has maybe about a car length, half a car length to that of Garage. But yeah, it's just those two battles, not seeing anything else at the moment.
There's of course a little bit of those 90-minute races. Like it's a very long format and not always action, but with the way how SimPlay did the strategy rules in those 90-minute races, it is still always interesting to see what strategy will be the best choice.
Yeah, absolutely, and it gives quite an array of strategies. It almost feels like you're watching an endurance race and seeing who pits before who else. We saw Toyota win Le Mans by making a early pit stop when
Oh,
compared to
Greaves
the
now
rest of
the
the
inside of the last
hypercars.
corner on Duras. A little bit of contact, a little bit of door rubbing, but Greaves made the move stick. And he is now in P7. But Duras can still fight back. Will he go down the inside? He's very close into the slipstream. And he is going down the inside. But nope, he's just filling Sam Greaves' mirrors. And it kind of works because Greaves went deep.
Yeah, he
But-
went very, very wide.
But I can only assume that Duras also had a horrible turn 1, so Greaves was able to keep position of B7. And I have to say the loss of Johnson isn't too bad with his long pit stop.
Yeah, Hunt now just on the back of Neil Broom. But Broom has already done both of his stops. Hunt still has one more to go with 28 minutes left. As
And
Hunt
Johnson is
down
making
the
the
inside.
move of Duras. He's now
Excuse
hunting
me.
down Greaves. Bless you, my man.
Thank you. Simcoe now in for the second of his stops. Kruppeljan, again, still just not able to get past that of Kaczarski, but they still have one stop each to go, so maybe once they make that second stop, we could see Kruppeljan light a fire and try and get past Kaczarski.
Maybe so, but one driver who's definitely leading the fire is Johnson. Because, of course, he had a long second pit stop, so he needs to make up those places. If he is ending up in the top 3, I definitely want to know what was his strategy and why he chose to do it.
I think Garage is back past that of Hunt, yeah.
And Johnson is going down the inside of Greaves. Greaves is not really fighting it hard, and Johnson take over P7. And now he has a lot of clean air to try to hunt down Craig, who still needs to make a pit stop as well.
Well,
So
I
we
would
have
say
quite a group of people who still needs to make their final pit stop.
I would say he should set his eyes on that of Simcoe. That's the other driver ahead of him that has done both of his stops. And Simcoe, oh, never mind. That's just the timing tower doing its thing. But Johnson has jumped that of Simcoe. But just, I would say about just a sprinkle of drivers who still need to do their second stop. The block 1.3 seconds ahead of Wolski. Even it looks a little bit closer. So I don't know if maybe the block made a mistake that allowed Wolski to close in.
I mean, we saw it, of course, earlier. The block was getting through his tires. I think this could be the same case once again.
Maybe. So who knows? Wolski could be, just smiling a little bit, knowing that he again is this close to a race win. Now, if I was Wolski, I would probably go ahead and pit and just have it out the way and just push to see if you could jump that of the block, as now the gap has gone down to 0.4 of a second. Oh, the
Yeah, and
block has
also
front end
Wolski needs to make
damage.
sure that to tell his pit crew to not give him new set of tires, because I believe Johnson did make the mistake of not telling his pit crew to not give him new tires.
Yeah, but the block has quite a bit of front end damage as Wolski looks to the outside, heading
You're
into
correct
the
about that one.
chicane.
Then the block has with this, well, the block went through something then, I guess.
Still, Wolski doesn't pull it in.
Now I think Wolski is just being patient. He's now very close to the block, so I will not be surprised if he'll now make a move down the inside of turn 1.
He's
And the block is not really
teeing it up.
defending it.
Yeah, maybe he knows that the damage is just too heavy for him to actually keep up with Wolski, so as to not ruin Wolski's race, he's just gonna let him through. And maybe hope that Wolski makes a mistake.
Maybe so, but like Wolski, I mean, one thing that he is known for this season is his consistency. If he is not winning, he's always very close to that. So, I mean, I'm not counting on that Wolski will be making a mistake. At least he will be the wrong driver to count on a mistake.
Kucharski's in, so that allows Kruppeljan to get his head down for a few laps. Garage and Hunt are still fighting. Well, I say that.
We are slowly but surely approaching the last 20 minutes of the race. Time has gone flying by as we speak. I was not even paying attention. It was already down to 22 minutes.
Yeah, it was about the same, but as I look for Garage and Hunt, it seems that Hunt has pieced out. Ooh, their battle between Simcoe and Broom. Kucharski's gone green, and can't see how big the gap is before the atomic tower fixes itself.
At the moment, the gap between Broom and Simcoe is like 3/10.
Just about. It says the Simcoe 4/10 out from that of Broom, so this could be one of those fights that goes all the way down, as Simcoe ran a little bit wide on the exit of that corner.
Yes. Oh, Simcoe also goes a little bit wide on the quick right-hander. And let's be honest, Broom's strategy at the moment is genius. His strategy caused him to be in front of Simcoe. And Simcoe is probably the quicker driver out of the two of them today.
Yeah, now they're eyeing up on that of Garage, who still has one more stop to make. The block is in for his second and last stop. Now I'm wondering if the block elected to repair that damage, because he has just a little more pace than Wolski when it comes to, like, just flat out. As I saw Garage just pull in.
Oh, the block has also made his pit stop, so he's probably trying to go for an undercut.
The block still has the damage, so we'll see how that plays into it when fighting Wolski. When Wolski makes his second and last stop. Still, Simcoe not able to get past that of Broom. And, oh, Johnson, from what I'm seeing on Timer Tower, has jumped the block. So, could Johnson maybe be in for the race win?
I mean, potentially. I mean... Huh? Okay, I'm now really confused. I'm sure I saw them, let's say, standing longer than 3 seconds. By far, so... I'm really curious now what type of strategy that has been happened. There has been chosen.
go back down to Gerbino and Dronelander. Just saw this one.
Gabino is very close to John, and so will we see the cheeky move down the inside of turn 1?
No, Dronelander has about 2 car lengths to the good.
I mean, it is possible, even though it will be high risk. I did had an overtake attempt of another driver on this track from 2 car lengths down. I mean, it was a very ambitious move, but I was able to make it work. So it is possible.
Gerbino trying to have a look around the outside, nothing there. Dronelander kind of holding him at bay, it seems, battling for 11, so I'll come back to them. Oh no, they're the closest battle on track. But yeah, well, never mind, we'll stick with them. Simcoe, again, still not able to get past Broom. So, Broom seems to have pulled an absolute masterclass of a strategy to put himself into this type of position.
Oh, definitely. It was like, these drivers are battling too much. I'm already going to go early into the pit lane and try to get clean air. And he got clean air because this is the result of his strategy. But of course, Simcoe's now down the inside. Broom makes a mistake. And Simcoe has now a big opportunity to go down the inside of turn 1. Like all the other drivers are doing today. Will Simcoe go for the move? The answer is no.
He plays it safe.
He's a little bit passive, in my opinion. But he is filling up the mirrors of Broom, and I think
Simcoe manages to go
out.
down the inside. Broom is going to have the inside for the next corner. No, yes, he will. A little bit of contact.
A little bit of a contact, a little bit of a kiss between the two drivers. But now Simcoe has the inside of turn 5, I believe it is now, turn 4. And he's making the move stick. As we were speaking of the brilliant strategy of Broom, he is not able to hold on his position compared to Simcoe. And is now falling back to P9, which is eventually a net P5, I believe, or P4. I think there's a net P4 as you speak. But of course, we don't know how long the pit stops will be for all the other drivers who are still in front of them. Because Wolski is still going, so he is still after the 15-minute mark and he's still going, not making a pit stop.
Alright, back down to Gerbino and Dronelander. Seems like Dronelander has put just a little bit of a gap on Gerbino with 15 minutes left.
So we're heading down for the last 15 minutes. So far this race has been going. Who have impressed you the most today?
Well, we'll do that at the end. Yeah, I'd round that up to driver of the day, so we'll do that in about 14 and a half minutes time. See, Sanchez. No. Oh, Arjun and Sanchez are having a battle. Argent around the outside before the kink. Ooh, a little bit of a slide from Sanchez. So now Arjun immediately to the back of Flores. A little bit of lap traffic for that of Gerbino allows Dronelander just to have a little bit more space between the two of them. Greaves and Craig, I believe, are fighting. Indeed, they are. But Craig is close to DeBlock. So DeBlock already in P4. Well, he might stay P4 because Greaves and Craig are still yet to pit.
Yeah, they still have to, but like, I think now all the drivers who still need to make a pit, so they're probably waiting till the last 5 minutes of the race and probably then going to do a splash and dash. At least that is what I'm predicting.
Malarik's in for his last stop.
We have a fight for P11 between Dronelander and Gabino. I believe Gabino have catch back up to Dronelander, and he's going to try to round the outside of turn 5, I believe, but Dronelander has it covered. But the Lamborghini of Gabino is really putting a pressure on the Ferrari of Dronelander. But Dronelander has a good exit out of the hairpin, and he is safe for the moment.
Indeed he is. So Gerbino just not able to close into the Ferrari of Dronelander. Greaves and Craig are still fighting. I think those are the only two battles. No. Sanchez and Tucker, I believe that is. Yes. Sanchez just on the back of Tucker, so how quickly can Sanchez get past that of Tucker? Still with 11 minutes 15 seconds left on the clock.
Yes, rapidly approaching the strategy battle as we speak, because sooner rather than later, everyone who still needs to make a pit stop has to make a pit stop.
So drivers left to stop are going to be that of Tucker, Petrovic. I see Craig is in, Hunt is in, Greaves, Kruppeljan, and Wolski are the last to make their pit stops.
Well, we see side-by-side fighting of Gabino and Dronelander, and Gabino has made the move stick for P11.
Indeed he has, so Italian car on Italian car.
Hunt
like
has now made his final pit stop. Let's see where we will be ending up. He looks like he's going to be in the middle of a 5-way fight. And he's going to be ending up behind
Hunt with a stop go 30.
Hello. Oh no, yeah, that is a shame. That basically ruins Hunt's race. That is a speeding pit lane penalty, that is for sure. And Wolski still chose to stay out, just like Kruppeljan as well. So that is some interesting strategies we have going. Greaves. Apologies. Greaves is also staying out. And Greaves is in under a lot of pressure from Simcoe, so there's a fight going on. Simcoe is going down the inside of Greaves at turn 1. He was thinking about it, but Greaves is covering it off with an early apex. And that is strike 1 survived by Greaves from Simcoe.
Yeah, Simcoe looking very, very solid today or tonight.
I mean, if that is not a performance that can convince the board to promote him to silver, I do not know what will.
I'm starting to lean with you, Patty. Simcoe to silver, maybe. But again, depends on what Righty thinks and the data that he has.
Well, Wolski still stayed out for another lap. The only fight we are seeing is for P5, but it's not really a fight for P5 because Sam Greaves still needs to make a pit stop. And I'm not knowing why he's now staying out, because he will lose a lot more time if he keeps fighting with Simcoe.
Yeah, indeed. And Crumplejan is in for his final pit stop, as well as Tucker.
Yes, I'm keeping an eye on Crumplejan to see where he will be ending up. Will probably be a splashy dash. He's standing still now. And the pit crew has released him and he is out on the pit lane. And will he be in front of Simcoe? The answer is yes, he will. He have jumped Simcoe. And I hope that the timing tower will be updated quickly, because I'm very curious where Crumplejan is in the timing towers.
Should be just one position ahead of Simcoe.
And Greaves, so that means that he is potentially P4? Question mark?
Think so. And just when does Wolski pull the trigger to get his second and last pit stop? So maybe staying out was the right call. We saw that it worked for Stardog in round 1 at Bathurst, and seems to be working for that of Wolski.
I mean, it definitely looks like it will be. It's working. I mean, if Wolski will be winning this race, it has been a strategy masterclass from Wolski. And I'm have now a close-up from the damage from the block. And yes, the block must have witnessed something heavy to have all the damage. But I have to say, the pace is still good on the block. I think it's just a little bit of loss of straight line speed, because he's really keeping up nicely with Johnson.
And as these two are about to come to the line, Wolski's just now entering Sector 2. So, just how much time has Wolski gained over the 2 cars behind him?
That's a good question, and I can't really answer, not gonna lie. I mean, I think we have to wait to see what will happen when Wolski makes his pit stop. I mean, it's officially that Crumplejan is now a net P4. So he will be finishing P4 unless something happened in front of him. Or behind him, of course. But Crumplejan has jumped Simcoe, and Simcoe was arguably the fastest bronze driver of the day. And still, Crumplejan was able to outsmart him.
Yeah, very, very solid. Oh, Petrovic in for his final pit stop. So just Greaves and Wolski, I believe, yet to pit. Yes.
And Wolski is now also in the pit lane.
in.
So it will be very exciting to see where he will be finishing. We need to keep an eye on the driver number 663 at 840. And then it will be decided if we will be winning this race or not with 4 minutes to go.
So Johnson and DeBlock both got the message of the leader in, so ooh, DeBlock almost straight onto the back of Johnson. Even with all the damage, it seems that his car is still handling very, very well.
I think we will be witnessing that Wolski will be winning the race because he's keeping the lead by a massive gap. Staying out
Indeed he
was
is.
the
Oh,
strategy to
Johnson
go.
around. I think Johnson got tapped by DeBlock, and there's a second tap from DeBlock on Johnson just in the last corner. So Wolski's gap just got way bigger.
That will be a penalty for the block. I mean, that is for sure. Johnson lost multiple positions, is now falling back to P6, which will be a P5 eventually. Oh, he's locking up. He has issues with his brakes. He massively locked up and went through. He shot turn 1. He massively locked up. Johnson's tires are gone due to that contact with Johnson, with the block.
2 minutes left, and Simcoe is within touching distance of Kruppeljam.
So can we pay attention that there will potentially be a bronze driver on the main podium as well, not only on the bronze podium. So I think this could be an exciting fight till the end of the race.
Definitely is. Probably the most action we've had in quite a bit, it seems.
Yeah, everything is kicking off in the last 5 minutes of the race. Oh, wait. Kruppeljam went wide from the last turn and Simcoe takes over the position. Okay, I completely missed that, but like, Simcoe is probably then inheriting the podium. Oh.
Ooh, makes a little mistake. Kruppeljam right back on to the back. Greaves is in for his last pit stop.
It was a little bit of an iffy turn 1 indeed from Simcoe, but he is managing to stay in front of Kruppeljam, which he is missing out on the main stage podium, unfortunately for Kruppeljam. With 1 minute to go, I think we have 2 more laps to go. But we can finally say that Wolski will be winning a race this season. The long-awaited win from Wolski. Unless he makes a mistake, of course, but I am not assuming that he will be.
Please don't give... Pat, I feel like he's gone through enough. Please don't give him the commentator's curse. But he has about a 20-second... He has about a 20-second gap. He could just stay at the line and wait for the clock to hit 0. But I feel like he's going to take just one more lap to soak it in. 15 seconds left on the clock. And the white flag is out for that of Wolski. Has about a minute, 55 or so seconds. But this gives Kruppeljam a little bit more of a fight for Simcoe.
Definitely. Oh, even though he went straight on the chicane. We have seen a lot of drivers going straight on the last chicane before the last turn. I mean, that goes to show that it is a very difficult corner to master. Yeah,
absolutely. It just kind of weird. I don't want to say that it's kind of bumpy on entry, but it feels kind of bumpy, at least in my experience. Could maybe be a ride height thing.
I think it's also a Ferrari thing because the Ferrari is not good on his curbs. I mean, you need to avoid them like crazy when you're driving the Ferrari.
But it seems like Simco has just about, I guess, disposed of Kruppeljan. Broom now, he's about a second out, but definitely looking a little bit quicker than Kruppeljan.
Yeah, but at the moment we are seeing that Wolski is now halfway through his final lap. He is now approaching the last chicane of today's race. And I mean, I don't know about you, Wellington, but Wolski has driven a strategy masterclass today. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, even though it took about 8 weeks, Wolski finally gets a win and should extend his championship lead by quite a bit over Johnson. Can't remember who else is in that championship fight off the top of my head.
It was Greaves and Ricci, but both of them having a horrible race. So he's definitely eliminating the competition, especially with the block taking out Johnson as well.
Yeah,
but Johnson
the block finishes P2 on track, but that might go down to maybe P3 or P4, or depending on the penalty, of course.
Yes, so that means that we could potentially see 2 bronze drivers on the main podium, but of course that will be decided after this race, after this event. So anyway, P6 is now Broom, P5 is Broom, P6 is Johnson, P7 will be Kucharczyk. And then P8 is Gabino, P9 is Dronelander, and finishing off the top 10 is Stardog. What a race, Wellington.
Fortunate for Stardog. Started on pole and kind of had his entire race undone just by things out of his control.
Yes, but like Merky Ricci, he did not give up and he believed in it.
So as we wait for the final drivers to cross the line, who were your drivers of the day, Patrick?
I go for honorable mention Wolski because he finally got a win and he did it in dominant fashion. But my driver of the day goes to Simco. I mean, he was able to keep pressure on the top 3, especially on Johnson, and that for a bronze driver, I think that is outstanding.
I'm going to give my bronze driver of the day to Neil Broom. He pulled a really, really good strategy when compared to some of the other bronze drivers. Even though he finished in P5 and P3 in bronze, it was a really, really good strategy. Then for silver, I don't want to give it to Wolski, but I feel like I have to. Just, again, for about the same reasons as Broom. Just a really, really good strategy, waiting till all the traffic sort of dissipated, and okay, let's check to see if there are any drivers in. Don't think so.
No, we have not. We have not been accompanied by any of the drivers as of yet. Maybe that will be changed.
Well, I don't think that anybody's going to join us in the comms box tonight for our post-race interview. So, but you could catch the Pro Series tomorrow night at the same time that I know more in American times, but I believe it's 8 p.m. British time. Oh, never mind.
Oh.
Wolski has joined us. And
now everyone is
Chartsky-
coming in.
Well, you can still check out the Pro Series tomorrow night at 8 p.m. BST, but let's go ahead and knock out these interviews. I'll start with Kruppeljan, and then we'll kind of work our way. Kruppeljan, another very, very solid night for you. Not quite the dominance that we've seen in the past, but still just able to find your way onto that bronze podium.
Yes, hello everybody, good evening. First of all, congratulations to Simco and Vučak and the rest of the silver drivers. Yes, I have a really good pace and I have a good tactics, but at the last turn I take too wide and I lost position to Simco. And I was trying to catch him, but my car was just sliding. My tires were off, and I was trying to be ahead, but I'm pleased with results. It's top 5. I mean, it's good position.
So, I can't remember where you would be in the championship once the points are updated, but we have, after tonight, there's going to be 3 rounds left. Are you, or like just in your mind, are you beginning to maybe push for a championship?
I mean, I will definitely fight for that because I'm really good at driving. In the last 1 month, I was like upgrading myself with setups and with my driving. So I think I will be good on Suzuka. And it's night. It's my favorite to race at night. So we will see what will happen.
Okay. Now we're going to slide over to Kacharczyk.
Hi guys, I know I'm over the podium but I want to congratulate for the Krupian. Congrats Przemek, gratulacje Przemek. And thanks everybody for this race. It's very, very tough, but I think we good fun. Thank you. Congrats guys.
Very much.
Off to that of the block now. It looked like it was going to be another dominant win for you, but we saw a little bit of damage and a couple of incidents here and there. So do you, or we also saw you caught up in a lot of traffic when you made your pit stops. Do you think that was the difference between you getting the win and coming second?
Probably. I mean, the first pit stop was shocking. Yeah, I slapped right bang in the middle of it all. When did Wolski pit? I thought I was ahead the whole race until like 10 minutes left. I thought I'd never, for the whole race, I thought I was ahead until about 10 minutes left. I'm like, what? He still hasn't pitted.
Well, Wolski pitted around the halfway mark for his first pit stop, and then after the 5-minute mark, he pitted for his last pit stop.
And sorry, do you remember the gap? What, like to... Whoa.
The gap between P2 was Kruppeljan at the moment was like 21 seconds-ish, but I'm not too sure about that one.
Oh my god. Well done, fair enough. Yeah, rough.
So we head off to Suzuka next week. Do you think that you could maybe try and make up for this week there?
Yeah, Suzuka will be a fun track. I'll be looking forward to the tickets that get put in because that incident at the last corner was special, to say the least. But yeah, looking forward to Suzuka. Yeah.
Yeah, if I may ask a couple of questions to you as well, the blog. You already brought up the incident. What is your opinion on it? You said it was already special.
Well, he'd broke too late for the chicane, had already gone over the chicane and was not in control in the slightest, or at least he wasn't on my screen. So I went to the right to the inside because that was the only place available, and then he's moved over just as we're going into the braking zone. I've got nowhere to go. He's moved over as we're going into the braking zone. Like I can't. There's nothing I can do about that.
Okay, so according to you, he moved on the braking.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
Alright, that's unfortunate. Also, strategy. Do you think you have lost today's race due to strategy? Because after your first pit stop, you were in a lot of traffic.
Yeah, definitely. That was the worst pit stop I've ever made, ever. That was terrible. And the damage as well. I don't know if someone spun on the last corner as well, and it caught me off guard, and I just rammed it right into the fucking right into the side of him. So I was carrying like 30 seconds worth of damage for half the race.
Well, still a podium for you. Unfortunately for the damage and everything what happened between it, but well done to you, the block.
Yeah, thank you. Good race.
Now we're gonna head off to the overall winner of this. And Wolski, I promise I'm not gonna taunt with the bridesmaid nonsense, but finally a race win for you.
Yeah, hi guys. Dzięki Łukasz, doceniam. It was for Łukasz. Yeah, I finally won. My dream came true that I won the feature race, not the reverse grid race. So that tick box is ticked. Yeah, I had a decent race, very calm and very calm. Yeah, I'm just tired. Sorry, guys. And yeah, I just borrowed the strategy for dummies from Sam Greaves, and actually it worked out. So I'm pretty happy. Yeah. What can I say? Great stuff.
So
I'm
we're
happy.
off to Suzuka now. What do you think you could do around there? And I believe you should still have the championship lead.
Well, next time is to Suzuka. I'm not 100% sure I will be racing because I have a renovation in my apartment, so there might be no possibility, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. It will be a night race if I'm correct. I like this track. I think it should be okay. I mean it will be also 90 minutes if I'm correct. So yeah, so I think it should be okay for me. At least it will be, if it will be dry. I hate wet weather. So yeah.
Okay.
If I also may
So-
ask one more question, if you have no questions anymore, Wellington.
No, that's all you, Patty.
All right, you already mentioned the strategy together with Sam Greaves. And why did you believe this strategy would be the winning strategy?
Because I learned it hard way several times from Sam last season, this season a couple of times, and I finally decided to try it. And yeah, I was always afraid of using only 2 sets of tires, but actually the second scene was pretty decent. Even with the overpressure tires, I had I believe 27.5s. So it was pretty overpressured, but they lasted until the end. So I can recommend the strategy.
Well, congratulations,
I don't know
Pilski. I'm really happy to see you finally win a race and in dominant fashion as well. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks,
and
mate.
hopefully next week I see you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, now I can finally sign it off again. You can tune in to SimPlay Motorsport at 8 p.m. BST as the Pro Series takes on the Nurburgring, joined by yours truly, Mathew Duffin, and possibly Tanner Kneebone. Maybe you could see the return of Gray Langley, maybe. But yeah, tune in tomorrow to see who your commentators are going to be. And with that, good night and goodbye from both me and Patty Leger up in the comms box.
See you next time.